Good evening, and welcome to Total Party Recap, TPK Roleplay's content recap and talk show. My name is Tyrant, and I am one of the three hosts for this show. Joining me are Turk and Heck, your second and third hosts from now into perpetuity. And our very special guest, not Chrissy, it is Dev. For all of our first-time viewers and listeners, let's go around the table just really quick, because we need to save time, and introduce ourselves, starting with Turk.
Just realized I didn't have the special screen on. Anyway, hello everybody. I am Turk. I am a DM, forgetful creator of Slob's overlays, and player here on TBK, and the third host because I refuse to be put behind Heck on any list. I am very excited to be here to be recapping all of the wonderful TPK goodness with you and to be chatting it up with Dev this evening. And I would like to also apologize for all the technical difficulties we had. My computer decided it was going to be difficult because it didn't like being in the car, as I am back in Boston. Yay, I shipped myself up to Boston. Whoa. Yeah, that's it for me. Please save me.
You did great. You're doing great, sweetie. Anyway,
hello
everybody. Stop. It's too early. It's too early. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. It's me, Sir Heckalot. You know. And I am the hype person and sorting hat of birds for the server, and I see a tyrant mimicking me. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. I don't even stop. You're distracting me. Oh my God. Oh no. And I also get flustered very easily, as you can see, audience. I'm very sorry. It was a very interesting week of module week, as we call it now. Cannot wait to get into it. So let's introduce our guest and get on with it.
Hello, everyone. It's me, DevDevelops, your friendly neighborhood, impish, budding hypochondriac. All in that order. I'm glad to be here. You know, there's not really much to me. Just you see me around. But I'm excited. Let's do this.
Dev, you sell yourself too short.
You also
say that
sell
3 times
yourself.
fast. You sell yourself.
Okay, listen, the hamsters have flustered us quite a bit, guys. We're trying so hard.
The blood of my hands. Hey everyone. Again, I am Tyrant, GM, staff member, and host for TPK Roleplay, as well as player and social media enthusiast, and just a whole bunch of things. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. Tyrant. Just a little background on TPR. The show was designed with the busy viewer in mind. We understand that not everyone has the time to consume all of TPK's content. It's going to be a great day. So we are hoping this show will be an answer to that need. We will be recapping and talking about each stream and event that happens at TPK every Sunday at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. Tonight will be a normal run of the show where we will be recapping 1 week of TPK's content. This week's episode will cover the time period between December 14th and December 20th. If you, the viewers, have any questions during the episode that you might want answered about some of the content or just have something you'd like us to talk about, feel free to say so in chat, and we will do our best to incorporate that into our discussion. All right. Now that the hamsters have been sealed away back in their cages, the bloody hamster war has been ended, and all things have been said and mopped, we can finally get the formalities out of the way.
I'll say it was quite a bit, you guys.
Yeah.
It was so much. It was so much work, and I'm glad we got through it. And oh God, they're back!
They want their union wages.
No, well, they don't get their union wages.
Who else runs the inner machinations of TPK?
It's all Hamsters.
Well, they should have thought about that before they signed the contract.
It's always been Hamsters, and it always will be Hamsters. Whether or not they have their union wages or not sure, but we'll figure that out at some point.
Mirror, you rodent, fight me like a man. What?
Heck, you're being very inconsiderate. No, he won't fight you like a man.
The funny
Fight
thing
you
is,
like a rodent.
I have the same exact puppet.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's all fine. I wish I had a blood packet, but I don't.
Yep. We all, you know what?
Okay, that's the bit.
Listen, if any of you out there want to be generous, there are a few items that you can send your favorite TPK hosts for the holidays. One of which is blood packets, because you can never have too many blood packets. The other is reliable internet. That's pretty self-explanatory. And the third is old Bitey's head. And if you can secure that, then you'll win the holiday season. Speaking of old Bitey, we have a lot of great content to discover and recap and shenanigans this fine Sunday evening. So why don't we jump into this week's episode? First and foremost, as always, I missed you all and I want to hear about your weeks. So, someone.
Someone.
I think I'll. This week was. It's always fun being home for the holidays because it's a toss-up if everyone's gonna be lovey-dovey or at each other's throats. And I'm happy to report it was a mix. Also, my nose got fixed, which is really good. It's very fun to not have your nose packed with gauze. I found out since last episode. So I mean, there's just like I'm breathing much easier now, which is not just because we're so close to the holidays, but also because there's literally not a deformity in my bone structure preventing me from breathing more easily.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I'm loving it. And I drove home today to be here with all y'all and to be in an apartment in a building that, beyond me, I'm fairly certain is completely empty, which makes the creaks in the walls all the more terrifying.
I love it.
Yes. Hey, Dev.
Hey, you.
How was your week? Do you have any roses, any thorns?
A few daisies, a few asters. If you must know, I actually, in my real personal life, submitted graduate school applications. I just finished that cycle, and
Hey,
it
good
feels so amazing to finally be done and over with applications and essays and all that jazz. But now that it's over, I feel as if I have nothing else going on for me.
You gonna start in the fall or in the spring?
Yeah, everything is fall 2021 admission.
Yeah, so you got some time.
I do.
Just be yourself, which is
I do. It
great.
I've for a bit of context, I am privileged enough to have had my parents let me move back in with them since the start of the pandemic, and so I've been home since March, and it's been both a blessing to reconnect with family in ways I haven't done before, and I have gotten to reevaluate my values, which has been really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Super happy to hear that. And very exciting moving forward. I wish you all the best. I'm in the same kind of sphere myself, applying for law school and whatnot. And so,
Me too.
hey,
Why, there's 3 years.
I know.
Oh my god.
Oh, well,
I don't want to.
damn,
I don't want to
guess
say.
gotta
Oh, you
apply to
guys.
grad
I know.
school.
I don't want to say it, but law school too. So we'll see. Let's see. You and me.
Ah,
yeah.
Same.
Oh,
I mean, I'm still in that waiting phase of, waiting to hear back, and that's all it is. And I'm getting announcements, which is like the most irritating thing. It's just like, yeah, our next correspondence will be in December, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna tell me if I got in or not? And it's like, no, we'll tell you in January. I'm like, oh, okay, and I really hope they do. Um, we'll see. But I mean, at least this past week, I have learned that I am an alternate for Oregon State's vet school, so that's pretty neat.
Very
Probably the
cool.
closest
That's
I've gotten
very
so
fun.
far, so we'll see how it goes.
Very cool.
But yeah, that was a really interesting email to get because it was just admission decision. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna
I
be
know
either really
they
great or my heart's gonna get a little broken. Let's see which one it is, and it was in between, so I'm okay with that.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah, now Snickers is freaking out at this puppet, this little hand puppet that I did the bit
mm,
with. Like,
mm.
I had it like moving around like her face before the actual bit, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" Like, no, she's just over here sniffing it. Like, what is this foreign creature? I hate it.
Well, hey, I'm glad everyone is getting a more solid grip on what they want to do with their futures and is actively moving towards those goals. And hopefully everything turns out just a-okay. It's in this trying time that we find ourselves in, it's nice to have a little bit of light. And not have to just sit here and have everything be the same. But hey, I don't want to get too sappy dopey on everybody, so let's dive into our first episode of the evening, which is Sherlock Investigations. Turk.
That would
There
be
we go.
because I am muted, and I'm a professional, everybody. I do professional things. I only am the most professional, which is why I'm now going to start recapping and stop saying how professional I am. So, Sherlock Investigations. What year is it? Anyway.
they're cousins. They're cousins.
Yeah. Sherlock Investigations. The crew, this time around, the crew was sent along with the addition of 2 new companions to investigate a strange string of grave robberies. They didn't seem to have, of course, grave robbing in this time period is not something completely strange, but it is odd that it is happening in such a large number, and the crew quickly finds out there's a bit more mystery than initially suspected. We had 2 new characters, one being myself and the other being Proper Nerdy, bringing in some new flavor to the group, which was very fun. Obviously, I can speak for myself. I had a great time interacting with everyone again, not as Sherlock, which is also great, but playing yet another rogue. But this time, I feel like it's a little different. Chell is a different flavor of rogue. But it was a great time. There was a lot of the typical Kohlrabi horror elements. Got some good spooks in there, and important clarifications on characters. We got some real good answers out of people, and I think that should be our first clip that I go into. Because this can directly lead into something we can talk about with you, Dev. And I think the most important question that was answered this time would be this.
You say it. So like
Sometimes you just have to just.
I'm pretty sure it's Alyun.
It's not, but it's.
Okay, what is it? We gotta clear this up right now.
Say it with me, kid.
Alian.
Alian.
Alian. Okay.
Leon. clip
Alien.
that. Alien.
But it's
Got
funny.
it.
It's funny when people mess it up because it's like it's like fun RP stuff.
Yeah, okay. I just need to know in my DM head it's Alien.
So yeah, we took some
How do
time.
you say it?
Yeah, well, Dev, one more time for the people in the back who missed.
It's Alien.
All right, Alien.
Yes.
Alhoon.
Got it.
Close. That's-
Alien.
All right, but it's
Alan. Alan. Got
to
it.
be fair.
Hey,
To be
okay.
fair to everyone, it's spelled with an A. So you come in and it's of course it's not your fault. But
I never, during the character creation process for Sherlock, I thought to myself, this is so simple. No one will ever misspeak the name. No one will ever not get it on the first try.
Are
And
you serious?
lo and behold, it ended up it's a thing now. I expect everyone Alien meets in the future to always get his name wrong.
Yep.
It's a staple.
and I find that very interesting that you came in with not to be unfair to you because it's also on everyone else to be like, hey, how do you pronounce your character? But also that you were like, no one's ever gonna have a problem with this.
It might have been a little oversight on my end as well.
And
I mean, I thought, it's so simple. It's so far from Alien. It's so far from other, like, what could go wrong? It went wrong. It goes wrong.
Everything
It
went wrong.
it don't go down. It do go down.
Oh my god.
Well, hey,
I didn't
Dev.
know that. That's very funny.
Speaking of, okay, now that I've said all the mispronunciations, I can't remember the actual pronunciation.
I'm not gonna tell you. You have to just say it.
Alien.
Close. Alien. Yeah. No, I doubted myself.
Oh no.
It's
Okay.
We're
Alien.
falling apart.
Alien.
We're falling apart.
Alien.
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 So in creating Alien,
Oops. Give me a second. Sorry about that.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry about that. Yes.
okay, in creating Alien, we've had somewhat of a discussion in the past about your thoughts on character creation and how you like to conceptualize things and stuff like that. What was your thought process going into the creation of Alien?
So that is a amalgamation of many things. Alien was almost going to be my Harper's season 2 character.
Okay.
I do love my clerics, and before Kohlrabi sent out the Sherlock investigation sign up, I was clear on doing a cleric in some capacity, and then all that went out the window because the timeline for the session came up, and I was like, okay, no, screw it. I need to bring him over to this one. I'll make space for Harper's later. But I usually look back at what I've played before and think to myself, okay, what can I bring that's different, who I haven't played before, to keep things fresh. I try not to dissuade myself from thinking that one class is better than the other,
Right.
because we all have our favorites. We all do. I do love the cleric.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never showed favoritism to any one class.
Nope.
You can ask all of my rogues.
Rogue say what? Yeah. And everyone's process is different, but I always think about, usually people will think, okay, well, here's my character, and depending on what their life was, that will lead to their what class they are. I start with the class first and immediately work that into their backstory, probably a little bit backwards. And I love people who don't always have necessarily a tragic backstory. I love people who perhaps have had it simple, people who've had privilege, and people who have good life. because I think that brings a unique blend and mix to other characters who haven't had it so good, and it allows my character to consider what gifts they've had that other people haven't, which I will eventually explore when the time comes. But for now, my juice-loving French boy, just is enjoying his time brewing potions up and figuring out what's going on in this weird place called London.
Yeah, no, I find that a very good philosophy to bring in, because I mean there's no one right way to make a character, and starting class first or starting backstory first or even starting like random roll table first. There's no one incorrect path other than maybe thinking like what is going to. No, I can't even think of one actual
Well,
bad way to make it other than being like what's going to cause the most trouble for the DM or something.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it also depends on whether on what kind of um on what I think comes with expectations. Like, what are you playing? Like, are you playing a campaign, or is it more short term versus long form? And I think that informs how much of your backstory is fleshed out to help your DM. And so I like to keep when I write my backstory, I like to check certain boxes and inform my DM that here are some things that I've written down to let you and there are some things that I'm going to leave out in the open to let you decide. It's a two-way street, and
100%.
there are some things I don't want to know happened while I live my life, and if it ever comes to light, help me see what it turned into, what it's become.
Right.
Yeah, no, that I love that, and I've done that with GMs, and that is 100% something I would recommend people reach out to their DMs and talk about, because one, knowing everything about your background and your character is good, but also like, what if you didn't? You know, what if
Right.
What if you didn't for
yeah,
the group storytelling medium? Like leave a little bit for the group, you know?
Yeah, leave a
I
little bit for the surprise and suspense.
no, 100%. I've done that to great success in some of the games that I've played in, not with TPK, but before, where my character had a major life event where they survived a battle somehow, and I was like, I have no idea how. I'll completely leave that up to whatever narrative decision you want to make, and I'll just roll with it.
Mhm.
And that, when it came out, how, like, not necessarily how they survived the encounter, but like everything leading up to it, I was like, everyone's looking around like shocked, backstory
Yeah.
reveal, and I'm like, what the fuck? And
I don't know about you all, but the human in me loves spoilers. Like, if I could, I would choose to know everything.
look,
But
you're
I
preaching to the
equally,
choir. Yeah.
it's such a love-hate relationship, because as much as I love just I love spoilers because I love to see how they unravel, how they become that result. Um, but it's the process. I love the process, which is why I love being surprised. It's
Right.
such
Yeah.
a visceral, great feeling.
Yeah. So we've this past week, not this past week, but the week before, I should say, we talked a lot about um, putting yourself into your characters. And you can
Yes.
look at Murder and Coffee for that, for some discussions of that, with Chrissy, as we talked about therapy and TTRPGs. How would you say you have put yourself, pieces of yourself into Alien?
It's fine, Leon. Yeah. Um, well,
Alien.
as some of you know, I went to school for acting. I got my BFA in acting, and even before then, my whole a lot of my education was theatrical to an extent, and I'm grateful for that, because it's allowed me to explore characters in more depth and learn about how the human condition intersects with characters that we dissect in our everyday lives, both internally, externally, and so forth. How you bring yourself to a character is very simple. when I'm personally in the camp of thought that no character is separate from yourself, only because the times, although yes, the times wherever the setting takes place may be different. There may be different races, such as in D&D. Circumstances, social constructs may change, but one thing that doesn't is feelings and emotion. And that's the tether that ties us to each other. Although we may never, how should I phrase that? I'll leave that for a later thought, but you can create a character that theoretically may be so different from the life that you've lived, which is great exploration, but the feelings at the end of the day that they felt in some way or another, you can find a way to relate and or flesh out. And sometimes, even when it's not apparent, you end up learning that that's a part of yourself, even when you think it's not. A silly example is with Alian, I personally really like juice. And I never thought I'd bring that into a TTRPG setting, but it started the first session with a joke. Excuse me, sorry. It started with the first joke that he likes juice, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta continue this because it's true. It's true to the heart." And as that's a silly example, but then when it leads to other deeper, more the feels, as you know, the deeper conversations that D&D characters have, it mirrors life. It may be improv, it may be in a fantasy setting, but it is through our characters that you and I are having a conversation, that we are having a conversation. I often, D&D is a great way to polish up your professional and personal skill set in those soft skills of learning how to converse with other people, and build those emotional intelligence foundations and understanding other perspectives, and why people do the things they do, while taking a step back through the lens of a different character. And that's just one branch in the ever-growing rabbit hole tree that is, character development, character exploration. It is a void of conversation. That's just one little needle in the haystack of many needles in many haystacks.
I mean, like, okay, you laugh about the whole juice thing, but I was gonna ask a question about that. But I'm glad it already got addressed. It's just, yeah, like a thing that you learned about yourself. But yeah, just like I like the little details that people add, like, just like, I don't know, like I have a character that's really into card tricks or something. It's like, okay, well, how did they get into that or something like that? Like, it's just like it's really interesting to me. It's just like the smaller details. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, you have the overarching background and story, but like, what made you think of this little thing right here? Like,
I think we're really careful and protective of our characters, and we try to keep them separate. But by being a little bit more open, playful, and vulnerable, we end up learning through those happy little serendipity moment of funny accidents, happy little accidents that we see ourselves more in them than more often than we probably think we do or don't think we do, whichever one's the correct verbiage. And it is such a gift. I mean, the feeling of, I don't know about you, but when those moments happen, I think to myself like, oh, like I wasn't expecting that, but it feels so freeing. I think that's just the word, freeing.
No, I get that. I mean, bringing in aspects of yourself into a character is amazing. I mean, that's literally how I when I started playing D&D, how I opened up so much and became so much more social, because I was not someone who would be comfortable speaking in public or out in the open. But that D&D, I just like literally with my character was forced to come to the front of the group more and more. And you know, to all your points, you know, I explored that issue with the character and grew from it, and it was absolutely amazing.
I will say, and I will stand by this statement. After playing D&D for a number of months, thanks to TPK, is I truly believe now one of the hardest acting exercises you can do is D&D. It is because out of all the improv exercises and the like that I've done, this one requires the immediate jump in that
Absolutely.
I haven't had the chance of doing beforehand, and it can catch you off guard. I mean, it can be uncomfortable for some people, but once it starts, you know, taking effect, like it's like a roller coaster. It just, you go for the ride, you're in it.
No, and you know, I will say, not to toot your horn here, but like, to talk about someone just jumping in and buying in on a concept, you have so strong with your character's ability to just introduce a new concept of themselves into the world and just do it seamlessly, and not like hey, here's a fun fact about me. I like juice. Like you was like, hey, what do you want? And you're like, your character's like, oh yeah, I want some juice, and you just rolled with it, and now you don't like. The thing I find amazing, and this is not just Sherlock, obviously, this is, you know, Raven's Crest and all the other one shots I've seen you in. Like, it's the fact that your characters have the ability to get bits of themselves in naturally and give other people things to work off of so easily. It's incredible. I mean, you know, you're throwing monkey bars to people, and they're, you know, in such a way that they can, you know, catch them, and everyone swings together because of the work you put in, which is just like, again, don't mean to turn this into a love fest at you or make you feel awkward, but like, I just really appreciate it.
No, I thank you. I mean, it's nice to hear that it's affirming in ways. To sum that part up, there are you learn there are boxes that you can check in those kind of scenarios, which are that you consider you know, I'm not going to bore you with the behind the scenes of it, but it's like, you just consider, you know, what's going on, why is it happening, and you never want to give someone a response that can't help move things forward. I don't ever want to you never want to give something that's stagnant. It's, you're only as good as your players who can help you move things along. It's cooperative.
Yeah.
It's not individualized. And so it's I'm helping you, help me help you. Yes and.
Yes and.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
No, that's absolutely fair. And I mean, I feel like another thing to your point reminds me of something else. I think, I forget who said this. It's like, I feel like people come in sometimes, not that anyone on TPK does this, but like people that I've played with in the past come in with hard facts about their characters. They're like, okay, this is my character's personality traits, these are their bonds, these are their flaws, and they are never going to change. My character is always going to be an asshole to everybody, and because like of some trauma. And it's like, and then I heard someone the other day explain, like, you know, I see flaws as a thing your character will overcome by the end of it. And, you know, God, I'm going to talk about Harper's again. But, like, that was something, like, I came in and, like, the flaw that I wrote for my character in Harper's was overcome by the end of Harper's. And it was kind of weird because I was like, but I wrote that down on the sheet. Shouldn't that be a hard fact about them? But it was like, no, the character changed beyond the writing. And I think that kind of speaks to how this is can be absolutely it's an acting exercise. It is, yeah, it's improv 101, as proper saying in the chat. It's, you came in with facts, and we're going to see how they shift around, and you can't stay married to any one idea about who you are or what you are.
Well, yeah, because like characters are people. They're fictional, but they're still people, and people
Mhm.
change. I mean, part of my character building process, like it was subconscious at first, but now I realize that I'm doing it, is, a lot of my characters will have some, like, something kind of inspired from my own life events. Like, take Aster, for example, from Tyranny of Dragons. Um, she is younger and, more unsure of herself. She's entering an entirely new environment outside of, everything that she's known. And like I realized that that's very similar to my beginning of college experience, that I was like, what am I doing here? Oh gosh. And then, eventually growing into, you know, being okay with being a nerd on main and forming a D&D club, or being okay with just like going off with biology and stuff like that. And hopefully, you know, it's kind of a hope that she'll learn the same thing, but I know that she probably won't learn those things in the same way, which is what I really like. That I like that this separate person is learning the same thing, but not necessarily taking the same step or the same route that I did, which I think is pretty interesting.
You and you guys can speak to this with Harper's season 1. You spent about the course of a year with these characters.
More or less.
They grew. They made their way to level 20. They had lived experiences before they met each other that informed their decisions, and then that only continued to evolve after each episode. The perhaps sometimes flaws won't always go away, but you grow regardless, and things you adapt. You cannot tell me that over the course of a campaign you will stay the same. If at least one thing changes about you, you're a completely different person, and that's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I just remembered we have other shows.
Yeah, no, I,
Yeah,
I'm just,
we do.
I didn't want to interrupt because you guys are having a fantastic conversation.
Sorry
And
for the
I just,
derail.
No.
No, do
never.
not. Sorry.
There,
Question.
listen,
We
listen.
asked you to
We
be on
don't
this
have
show, sir.
we don't have rails here. Okay, you can't
There are
derail
no
us
rails.
because we're never on the rails.
This is the Polar Express, basically. We can just
Yes.
go onto a frozen lake and not die somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just wanna say just kind of one last word before we move on to the
Of
next
course.
show. I think it's incredible coming here. I my I got here in late February, early March, and the amount of growth I have seen, not only of the community, the channel, but of people in general here on this in this community, is just overwhelming sometimes. It's extremely humbling being able to come in here and watch people literally go through life, not only on screen, but also, knowing people off screen, and, helping them when I can, seeing other people help, and reveling in the victories and the defeats and the heartbreak and the absolute sheer joy that people experience on a day-to-day basis is just incredible. So being able to come here and share myself and have everyone share themselves with me has been incredible. And I genuinely believe that we have been and will be continuing to go above and beyond the call of you know TBK's current desires and wishes, and we'll eventually get to uh, you know heights that we have never even imagined. But for now, I think it's okay if we just go beyond the undergrowth.
Yeah.
I do
and-
want to say one thing
Yeah.
that, like, just to solidify about Sherlock Investigations this past episode. We never caught the grave robber. I just want to say that to everyone. We don't know who
Yeah.
it is. We don't know.
He got away. They can't
well-
do that.
well,
We had a
so-
happy little.
We encountered a character who might have been responsible, but we are not certain. So you have to tune in next month for the ongoing investigations, because there is allusions to a larger picture that have just been dropped on us. And I mean, also there's Bee Cat. Not the bee cat you're
Yeah.
thinking of. It is a cat full of bees, and they are a collective treasure, and they are mine, never. See you in chat.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Beyond the Undergrowth. That was a solid
Anyway,
transition. I
yeah,
refuse not
and
to honor it.
Cole kind of already used, heights we never imagined, as that was going to be my segue, but he said it in chat. But, great minds think alike, I guess. Just like our party putting their minds together to keep ascending Firefinger and Beyond the Undergrowth. It was very interesting to see them climb up to, like, I don't remember what the actual footage was. I know it was at least 240 feet, into the air, which is crazy. They met a lot more Terra folk. I don't know, they keep saying something about turtlenecks and stuff. I don't want to think about it, but the baddies that are also dinosaur people. And it was really interesting to see what their decisions were in combat, how to fight these baddies and rescue a captive that they ended up finding out later on, finding magical items, both written in campaign and gifted by chat at the very beginning of the episode, which was quite good. There were laughs to be had, including some pretty good / bad puns, and that's what I ended up suggesting as the clip of the week for this show. So how about we just roll that? Let's just roll that joke real
Alright.
quick.
Beautiful beam footage going now.
It is essentially an incredibly large chunk of Earth that continues to just float in the air by using magic.
Isn't a moat usually the absence of Earth?
No.
But
Hey, I'm gonna need you to go.
okay, I will.
Brock spawned. The guy's campaign's over. We're done.
Oh, shit. We lost
Herman
Herman.
is gone.
You do notice, amongst other things.
Oh, he is not coming back in that clip.
He's not coming back. That's what we were saying in chat.
The power,
He's not coming back.
the power of a DM to create, to destroy, to give life, and to banish. Leave my presence.
It was such a running theme, I feel like, in TPK for people just to leave, both DM and player. You just
Look,
have to leave the screen sometimes.
Okay.
There are times you're asked to leave, and there are times you need to leave because the players are running the game themselves, and you can go take a quick break.
As
And
it goes.
Can we quickly talk about the sin it is to have phobia names be so obscure and so
So
oddly
then you have to
long
look it
and
up,
complex?
And then, you have to look it up, and then the thing that you might be scared of pops up on your computer.
Like,
and it's
what's
like,
what it's you're walking yourself into your own trigger. What's the thing of heights called again?
Altophobia.
acrophobia. So
Acrophobia.
acrobatics.
Why can't you just say spooky heights? Height spooky.
Wuthering Heights.
Well, okay,
Wait.
but yeah. Well, careful. I don't know who used someone with that. Over on Net 20, Sarah's just gonna have a twitch in her head.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, no, there's the yes, exactly. Hippopomenestra equipodiliophobia is the fear of long words.
Mhm.
Which
It's like,
what the fuck?
a sadist made that. It's
Yeah,
fine.
like someone's just like, these people are afraid of long words. I know how we'll get them.
Hippopotomonstrosis equipodeliophobia. Is that it?
At this point,
I
they're
don't
yeah,
know, and I don't care enough.
Hippopotomonstrosis equipodaliophobia. Daliophobia.
I don't know.
that's just mean. Come on, like
Exactly.
they
No, it's
It's
like
just mean. Just kind of like how at the end of this episode, we thought we were just gonna have like a chill ending to Beyond the Undergrowth, but then they got thrown, or something was thrown at them that was quite large, going towards their long rest. And not gonna spoil too much, because if you want to watch any part of it, you should watch the end. It's very interesting. There was a large fight that
stuff happened.
you don't want to miss.
I feel
They fought a king of sorts, is what
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
say.
I feel like Tony is always like, all right, this stuff's happening. Yeet. It's like
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, that's just Tomb of Annihilation in general.
yeah,
Like,
to
there's
be
so
fair.
much random shit. Like,
I think if it's been said once, it's been said a million times. That campaign is written to destroy your character sheet, even
Hence
though that
the
fight
name.
was exactly. No, exactly. Literally, it's supposed to be, hey, your players might not like you after this kind of game, but because some people really enjoy that. Unfortunately, for Cole, he says that fight was easy, as Tell cannot be stopped. Tony, if you're listening, please, we like Tell. We like him singing for us. He makes great clips. Don't take him away from us too
He
so
makes
mysterious.
you know what? He makes our job a little bit easier.
He makes our job so much easier. It's
he
so much
does.
easier to pick
He
a clip.
definitely does.
And let's just go ahead and roll that B footage.
I don't. Oh, I can get you. I wasn't prepared.
No?
I wasn't prepared.
No. Oh.
Oh wait.
I failed you.
Okay, I can reenact.
All right.
Bzzz. B footage.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Ouch.
All right.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I passed out. There was a really bad pun.
Yeah, it's fine. I banished Tyrant for a little while, but he
Okay.
can come back at any time.
All right.
Hopefully
Well,
he does.
we have a few rounds. What was it, like 10 rounds?
Because I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
recapping the next thing.
Yeah, he will have to eventually come back. But to your point, Tony is definitely the DM who does not just think of how to get to point A to point B, but how to get you to point A, from point A to point B, and have you, sharpening your knives in the night the entire time. If for nothing else than fear for your character.
Or the lols.
Sorry, I just looked in chat and that was a mistake.
There he is. Welcome
But he's
back.
back. Tomb of Annihilation Beyond the Undergrowth is, as always, an absolute joy to watch. I would heartily encourage, if you have not already, check them out. They have the new player still quickly breaking in the social dynamic with the group, with Foxy, and absolutely killing it. Gotta give love, even if he is from Philadelphia and I, as a North Jersey native, should not like him. I can't help but enjoy his presence.
Tribal affiliations.
Yeah, well,
That said like 100 things.
It's a complex. It's a complex geopolitical issue. All right, in New Jersey, North and South Jersey is the new Mason-Dixon. I can't get into it right now.
Oh.
Yes, one of the few rules we have on the show is we don't get political, if it is geography, politics.
Even if it is primarily based around what you call Canadian bacon.
I'm sorry.
I'm not getting into it. We're not getting political.
Don't get
think-
into
I
it.
think-
No,
I
no,
think
no, no, no.
the circled ham thing.
Yes.
Taylor
I
ham.
love it.
We can have this conversation later.
Yeah, well.
But I need to know what our good friends in North Jersey need to fix.
Oh.
We don't need to fix anything.
Wait, are you north or are you south?
I'm from North Jersey. I am like I'm North Jersey, and naturally I have to be lightly opposed to excuse them fucking moi. How dare you, Mr. Rogers? How dare you?
You.
There's a literal visceral response. I can feel it in my lungs.
He's gonna grab the hammer pretty soon. You better be careful, Mr. Rogers.
No. I can't do
Oh.
it. I can't do it. Ooh.
Yeah, don't abuse your mod powers.
You hear me. You listen to me. Anyway. Speaking about dead meat. And things that make you come back to life. It didn't work in my head. It worked a little bit, but
you had something.
Turk is embracing his dark side, just like the darker side of our Curse of Strahd show's title.
Oh, hey.
Now, let's move on. We're not gonna touch that with the 10-foot pole. Let's go.
Okay, hey everybody. On this episode of Darkest Night, Brightest Light, the party. Listen, I wrote down snippets for the notes, and so I'm gonna try to extrapolate as much as I possibly can. This is what you get when you don't take succinct notes, everybody. Remember that. Remember that. Okay, so the party found themselves in the basement of the. I keep thinking it's the Wachter house, but it's not because
it's not
because HP doesn't have the Wachters in there. So that house, different name. Yeah, I don't have the name in here. Succinct notes, everybody. So they found themselves in that basement, and then the servants ran away to collect some dolls, and so they chased the servants. And then a thing happened, which is the subject of our clip, but I'll come back to that. And then they interrogated the servant. They fought a doll, a very creepy doll that had the soul of a lady inside of it. They found a room full of cats. They caught a cat and then tried to tame it, and then the cat ran away, which left Niffer very sad.
I knew it was her. Oh my, you'd have to say it. I knew.
Yeah, left Niffer very sad because she couldn't keep the cat. They recovered a bow of some import. Yes, I called you out, Niffer. And it was the Petrovna house. Thank you.
Petroleum.
Alien. The location of a secret rebellion faction was coerced out of a shopkeeper using the same method that the clip is going to cover. There were discussions of death and deals being made, deals that have some sort of adverse influence over people when they're made in Barovia, and how death may or may not have influence there. It was just the protection of the orphanage, which they arrived at the orphanage and talked to the I want to say the head sister. I'm sure that's not the right word to use, or at least what is Noir's character's name? I'm thinking Rael, but that's obviously not right. Uther. That's right. Uther talked to the head not none, but you know what I'm talking about the death and deals, and then they found out about how the orphanage is protected from Strahd. Niffer's character went to work silvering weapons, popping out an anvil in the middle of this chapel. And then they learned some lore about the past of Barovia and the Fanes, and how the Fanes in Barovia may be able to help weaken Strahd if they are restored. So that is the episode in a nutshell. I'm sure there's certain things that probably could have been said, but those are the main story points. as for the certain method that is used to interrogate people, a good table was given to Noir's character Uther that allowed him to say anything to any NPC, and that NPC automatically believed him. And this was Noir's reaction to receiving that grand power.
The next day, anyone will believe anything that you say.
Ooh! That is
And
the
this-
wrong power!
This coldness
No!
sits in Uther's chest.
It is the wrong power to give him!
We are so.
The word she was looking for is fucked.
Yes.
Yep.
The
Just
word-
how all of the tables, both good and bad, are just attracted to Noir. I don't know what it is.
Noir adds the chaos to the game, and the universe rewards him for this, regardless of his character. He makes a plan, negotiates with nobody, confirms it with nobody, and does it.
Yes.
And it works. It would be a
It
problem
works.
if his plans never worked. It'd be like, it would be bad plans, but the plans work.
Sometimes. Most of the times they work.
Most of
Most
the
of the
time.
Most
There are
of
The
the
rate
laughs.
is very high.
There are laughs, and then there are laughs, and
my gosh.
that is a hoot, and I love it. I love it so much.
I would describe that as a laugh of the maniacal nature.
Oh my god!
Absolutely.
It's not evil. It's just an it's an acknowledgement that there's realizing that any difficulty you thought you were gonna face is now immaterial. It's like it's like preparing yourself and leaving really early to get on the road and finding no traffic through the entire ride, and now you have all this extra time. It's
Listen. I think I would release that kind of laugh if I had a very messed up sense of humor and the traffic was not there because it was like just destroyed and pushed to the side of the road. And I was just driving like, yeah.
It is.
That is an analogy right there.
It's revelry in power, certainly. There's, and
yes, I agree.
A bit of
Oh
Schadenfreude, the laughing at the enjoying the misfortune of others.
Yep. See, I don't know. I feel like I have a very different reaction if I had that kind of power. In game,
you
like,
did have that kind of
I did, and I was like, I'm the worst person to have this. Oh no, like, I shouldn't have this.
It's great because you didn't only have that power for NPCs, you had that power on the universe.
I did. And hey, at least the town of Greenest will never be destroyed ever again. So that's pretty cool.
You had that power, and I think you were responsibly like, I'm concerned with the impact I'm going to cause. Noir has the power and already has a plan and already knows exactly how this is going to be misused to the greatest effect.
Yes. Well, I'm very excited to see what comes of the rest of this Curse of Strahd campaign. Now that a lot of the disparate threads have been identified and pieced together into somewhat of a cohesive direction for the party to follow.
By disparate threads, you mean all the children they've adopted?
Yes. Each child adopted in that campaign. If you guys didn't know this is an actual mechanic. Each child adopted in that campaign lowers the DC of all intelligence checks to find the actual plot. So just letting you know.
Oh no, they're gonna need a map too. Oh no, what have you done, y'all?
Next session promises to start very emotionally strongly. I will say
Mhm.
that.
Absolutely.
And it was. I'll be honest. It's going to be rough,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think this is a group that is uniquely qualified to handle this. The way they break down emotional moments and discuss it afterward and are always
Mhm.
open to stopping is amazing. And I think, if you're the type of person who worries like I'm gonna cry watching this and I don't want to,
Okay,
I
we
think
cried pretty much every episode at this point. Like, that's fine.
I will
look,
say, if you are coming to the show because you want to get an idea of what uh, HP's Curse of Strahd campaign is and how it operates, and you're trying to find a place to kind of jump in, I think now is the time. I think because of how this episode finished up, you're going to have the easiest time jumping into this campaign right now. It seems almost like a new arc is beginning, or at least that's the vibe I got, especially with the information that was dispersed. So I would recommend watching this last episode and then just continuing from here, because it's definitely a good place to hop in, I think.
oh no, definitely.
Yeah. Not that any place isn't a good place to hop in, but like if I had to choose an episode, I think it would probably be this one. But hey, speaking of hopping in, I think we should hop out real quick and take a quick break, refill our mugs of nice warm beverages, and use the potty if we have to. So all of you fans out there who would like us to stop taking breaks, I'm sorry, but we can't. We need the break time. It's a non-negotiable. It's in my contract, damn it. All right.
Yeah, we're union, and that's okay.
Yes,
Hamsters, not so much.
we are union. We cannot have hamster union as well. Go talk to Mr. Tony Steffens for Hamster Union. He runs Hamster Union. He is union representative. Anyway, we will be back very shortly, about 5-ish minutes. In the meantime, all of you, you know what you're supposed to do. All right. Peace.
What's supposed to be done?
This intermission screen to the live screen, just all willy-nilly without any sort of countdown or anything like that.
Absolutely no care. Just like myself looking like
I'm watching
average,
like the Twitch right now, and I'm like,
just me
what?
looking like your average like 16-year-old e-boy on TikTok right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
I won't, but I will tell you we're live.
Oh, we're live. Hey,
I'm
everyone.
aware.
Welcome back. Yeah, we totally didn't know that. Hey, you know what's been popping up for me a lot on Twitter searches, Instagram searches, just Google search, just a whole bunch.
Conspiracy theories?
No, squirrels, actually. But listen, I want to hear, I don't care anything about squirrels. Actually, I love squirrels. But I really want to hear about dragons.
Okay. Well, turns out we learned more about dragons on, surprisingly, our Tyranny of Dragons campaign that's going on every other Thursday, Queen's Gambit. You should definitely check it out. And yeah, this past Thursday, our party interrogated some cultists. It was surprisingly wholesome for an interrogation. Like, it was... we cared about their well-being still, and it was very good. We got the information we needed, and we headed out towards the rest of the cult after letting them go. Our bard Icarus did a kind of an Among Us style way of trying to take out the people guarding that camp with varied success. By varied, I mean we eventually had to just go in and do battle with the entire camp, but we made it out, and we got information about some type of hatchery that is now in the possession of this cult, which is very interesting. It pointed us towards a tower, and we decided before seeing what's up with that tower that we should probably take a long rest, because we're all rather tapped on resources of different kinds. But yeah, it was a super interesting session. We still had a lot of laughs because gathering the cast together can be like herding cats sometimes, where we try our best, but we were, I don't know, I feel like we were all just like off in different ways. Like Chrissy was already sick at that point, and we were just trying to hold it together. But I think maybe there weren't as many like in character moments or anything, but I feel like we did have a lot of great out of character moments, which is actually what I wanted to highlight from this episode. I don't know if all of you viewers know, but here at TPK, we like to do a thing where we fill out forms for either one-shots or campaigns and stuff, and it is what we call a player consent or a player safety form. And basically how it works is there's, a lot of topics that, can either make people uncomfortable or be worse than that, can be kind of traumatizing for people. And we want to include as many people as we can in our games and stuff. So to fill out this form, there are all these topics, and next to the topics, which it can be things like arachnophobia, for example, or type like police brutality, like just a little bit more uncomfortable topics. But next to these topics are a red light, a yellow light, and a green light. So green light being like, feel free to put it in the campaign, I have no problem with it. Yellow being more, hey, I may need some more context and to talk about this a little bit more. And then red being, this can't be in the campaign. We have to figure out a way to not approach that at all. So we all, of course, did this before going into our Tyranny of Dragons campaign, and one of the topics that got red lighted was the torture of prisoners, or like excessive torture or killing of prisoners. That's something that couldn't happen. So we knew to approach the topic of interrogating these cultists very delicately and very respectfully, and we all did a fantastic job. And I thought it was really nice of Magic to publicly thank the cast for doing that. So that was actually the clip that I decided to take from this week. So how about we roll that real quick?
Of course, I would be delighted to, especially with that introduction.
We pride ourselves in having a robust amount, as much as we as humans still can, of safety measures for people in certain situations that might be problematic, worse than uncomfortable. And people being held captive is in one of those areas of, okay, we need to be careful about this because collectively our group is just uncomfortable with certain things. So we put major torture, harm to captives, that sort of thing on the no-no list. So I want to publicly thank you guys as the players for respecting that, and I absolutely assure you that there will be no quote-unquote punishment for letting the bad guys go. That would be absolutely not in the spirit of what we just did. So just so you all know.
Can we please get an epilogue for them about how they lived happily ever after at some point?
If you remind me after the episode.
That's some good. That is some good TPK.
It is some good TPK vibes, and that's something that I super appreciate about the community, because I have never encountered a community that has done anything like that, and I think it's super important. It's great that we're being so much more transparent about it, and it's something that needs to be talked about more, and even on stream talking about it more. And I'm just I decided that was instead of playing a clip of like a joke or something, that like this was a good like cast moment that I wanted to highlight for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it definitely highlights the fact that we can still have very functional great campaigns without some of the stuff that was already in that campaign written in. For instance, what we just saw with Tyranny of Dragons, but also with Curse of Strahd, HP's Curse of Strahd. So, you can still have a campaign that follows the content as much as it possibly can to retain the story, but kind of negating some of the more problematic things that come with those areas. So I applaud all of the players and the GMs who work around these problems every time that it comes up. And I think it's incredible that we can come together and actually be respectful and continue to create great content even past that.
Yes,
100%.
champion boundaries, champion consent.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think this I really enjoy Queen's Gambit because it gives me that like home game kind of style.
It's safe. It is so safe and lovely, and I'm never like worried about anything.
I
Yes,
feel like
I
I'm
see
there.
you, HP. I see you, HP, in chat. You can do drama and horror without resorting to trauma, and I agree with that. 100% agree.
I think your campaign sheds light on the fact that you can engage in the more quote unquote perhaps to some darker elements of D&D and some modules and the like, and not feel as if it's not for you just because it contains certain elements, but it can be modified. It can be edited in a way that doesn't disrupt the style or doesn't lose any vital element of the stories. You can play safe and have a great story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and even from a player standpoint, I think I have some lore about early me joining TPK that not a lot of people on the server actually know about. Yeah, we got some lore, like even as a player.
Let's describe it here and now.
Championing, it's fine. Championing boundaries and stuff, but way back in July when a bunch of us were. I see Turk mimicking my hand gestures.
I'm sorry.
Makes me...
Look.
Look, yes, okay, good.
And there you
Listen,
go.
I get
Just
I
don't
get
sit on your
flustered
hands
very
now.
easily.
We'll be fine.
Okay, but way back in July when we were playing the first one shot that I was ever in, and Magic was ever in, and HP's in there ever in. Right before we went on stream, actually, I still remember this. Right before we went on stream, Magic actually asked, since some of his spells were touch range, so think Cure Wounds, think Seal of Faith, that kind of thing. He actually asked, "Is it okay if my character touches your character?" Which I thought was like, I've never thought about that before, but that could actually be like very important for people. And that made me think about how I play and how I interact with that kind of thing. But yeah, it's kind of been the thing from day one. I remember it, Magic. I see you in chat. I remember it. And it's like, it definitely made me think more. And yeah, like that's kind of been your MO since day one, which has been really interesting. It's been very good for the community. I 100% mean that.
No, it is really nice to have those boundaries, and sometimes you need a game that does like for some people, sure, there is a satisfaction in playing through a game that is dark and troublesome and makes you feel like, my gosh, my heart has been ripped out and stomped on, and but there is a point, I think, where if someone is playing and clearly not, I feel like we've harped on this in so many iterations and so many times, like it cannot be said enough here on TPK though. If anyone is not having fun, the game itself is no longer fun. Like, it doesn't matter if 9 out of 10 people at that table are trucking along and being like, yes, murder, death, kill, terrible, horrible things being happening, and if one person is uncomfortable with anything, then and that becomes an immediately a poor situation because they're no longer engaging or interacting with the game, and that deprives everyone else of their character. And that's not fair to the character. That's not fair to the audience of TPK. It creates a situation where it's not it's no longer the game we want. Exactly. We're all in for the fun, and if we aren't all having fun, then we aren't having fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple, and it's great. It's great to see a campaign that handles that. And great to see GMs and players who go that extra mile to make sure everyone at the table is having a good time, is comfortable. I mean, in-person games can handle it a bit more directly because of the close proximity, and the internet can often make us feel very disconnected from each other, and that the impact of your actions may be lessened by speaking through a mic into a computer screen at someone who is, to all your recollection, just a collection of pixels. But and sorry, I've been explaining Twitch to my parents a lot this last week.
Oh no.
Which is a great conversation to have. But there is, you do have to remember, regardless if it's through a mic or in the same room, or via smoke signal or written language, you are dealing with another human being who has a unique life story, and no one knows how their fucking brain works. You just got to respect that some things make people not like the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just ugh. Sorry.
Breathe.
Rant
Breathe,
over.
Turk.
Yeah, I will breathe, and it'll be through my nose, and it'll be lovely.
Hey. Very
Hey,
nice.
my nose is great now and no longer clogged. Guys,
I
appreciate
am very
you guys.
happy that you are no longer afflicted by something that has been afflicting you for years.
I mean, yeah, and now I don't know if Chad has noticed my voice has gotten a little bit lower and less nasally, but I certainly freaking have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, one thing that you may not have gotten to do in those years is, when it gets really cold and you walk outside and you just like breathe in really hard through your nose and like you get a brain freeze.
I've gotten that now, actually.
Never.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you're probably going to have that a lot more. And the characters of Cold Hands, Warm Hearts certainly get that as well.
For sure. Nose full of snow.
Just full of cold air, snow, and puke, apparently, from this last episode here. So let's just dive into the territory that our arch nemesis calls home. How about? So after recovering the sled, we find that Brahm is blind. Then Lane's warlock patron shows up with gifts, and I should say Brahm is blind, and Mirth goes and is helping Brahm along their journey, and is narrating everything, which is very, very fun. Lane's warlock patron shows up with gifts for everybody, which were generously donated by Chat. Thank you, Chat. Then steals Lane away, so Lane is gone. At the same time, Sabine gets drunk at the Northlook Inn and learns of a newcomer that is going to be traveling to Kelvin's Cairn. The party completes their quest, turning in the ingots, and gets some jewels, some kind of jewels that are in some unrefined jewelry Definitely not mastercraft. Definitely some like apprentice level work, but still good nonetheless. They make it back to the Northlook Inn and are assailed by that dastardly old bitey. Versus full of just lots and lots of salty sea air. They find Sabine. We find out that Mirth is writing theme songs for the party, and reveals Sabine's theme song, to which, or part of it at least, to which Sabine pukes all over the place. And Old Bitey sings his third song that could be qualified for a copyright infringement of the night. Lane cleans up. Lane finds his way back to the inn, being dropped off by their patron, and fully cleans a partially cleaned up pile of puke with magic. The party collects themselves, gets a bearing, and makes their way towards Targos with relative ease. Arriving at Targos, they stop to help a woman who is looking for a small creature with a porcelain mask painted with a red V, which sounds like the wind, makes wind sounds. Sabine catches the creature. Mirth attempts to communicate with it. And the party eventually is successful in adopting the tiny fey creature. Afterward, which of course, more pets. Afterward, the famous last HP hero post-session talks ended, and that is where they left off.
I agree. Bubby is not a pet. Bubby is a friend. They can think for themselves.
Okay.
So
Sure.
can cats and dog. Wait, what
Sure.
are you saying?
Bubby is
important.
Bubby is friend. How
I
about
think
that?
Bubby is friend.
Look, before we roll this clip, I just want to say, Sabine, whatever you need, all right? You let me know.
Hey,
I got channel points.
Listen.
I got so many channel points. You are a rogue. You are out for the same goal we're at here. You let me know what you need.
Listen to Turk and I. We are on your side. You are not alone in that frozen hellscape, all right? That thing is an abomination, and it needs to be dealt with. We will help you. Just let us know.
Do I hear the beginnings of some type of cleric warlock relationship ish things going on here?
Look,
maybe.
Hey, Sabine, let's make a deal.
If HP wants to canonically have total party recap, be a warlock patron for Sabine, yeah.
Please.
We only have one clause in that contract. We'll give you all the powers that we have.
And the only rule is you have to have fun. I think that's a pretty good rule.
The points don't matter.
And hoods up at halftime. I don't know when halftime is in Cold Hands Warm Heart, but
after breaks.
Well, okay. To be fair, I mean in character. To be fair, Sabine already has a hood out, so it's already after halftime. Clearly.
Yes.
Agreed.
But anyway, here's the clip that prompted this discussion.
Don't laugh. This is serious.
Everyone, I saw it. You just ignore Tony. Don't worry about Tony.
No.
HP. Yeah. Go ahead.
If we ever have a guest player on this show, can they please be playing Old Bitey?
Oh, we'll see if Turk or Doc are available. I think they would love it.
Yeah, I
Tyrant
agree.
I
I think that one of them should be playing Old Bitey for us, please. Thank you.
Plot twist, it's me playing Old Bitey.
Oh no, it's you the whole time.
I love it. I love the idea that Bree voice acts both Sabine and Old Bitey, like canonically.
That's one of those Easter eggs that they don't put in the credits. It was just an uncredited voice.
All right, look.
Listen.
Stop. Collaborate and listen.
You know what? You know what? Hey, what we didn't show, because we are good people, is the slander, the absolute buffoonery that happened at the beginning of this episode. That evil little river-dwelling, bottom-feeding something, fish-related, almost sushi, said that he is better than me and Turk at recapping. Now, I will give him that he did throw props to Heck. So we have a stay of execution. But come the morn, old Bitey, we're coming for you. Your time's limited, son.
I feel as if I'm in a fever dream.
Yeah, we had this discussion at the beginning, and now it's just pure hijinks, and Dev doesn't know what to do. We're sorry.
Dev, look.
This is
All
this
you
is
need
what
to know
happens.
is fuck old Bitey. We want him dead. That's it. That's the only thing you need to know.
Let me write it down.
Give us a call. Give us a call, Sabine.
Yeah,
we'll
please.
help you out.
We got you. Don't go softening up your character's heart just yet. We need that cold heart assassin
Mm-hmm.
to come
I don't
in.
know. I feel like as the chief person that like wanted to befriend the Chwinga, like I don't know if her heart's that cold, honestly. If you haven't watched that interaction, you need to. It is the cutest thing. It made me very emotional.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Hey.
I realize that these machinations that we have going here may come as a shock to some people, especially people who have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. Old Bitey is an evil ne'er-do-well that resides in the frozen wastelands of Last HP Heroes Frost Maiden campaign. And he's just the worst. The worst. The worst. The worst. The worst of the worst. The worst and the worst. If he was a German word, he would be bratwurst. So listen. I don't know where I'm going with this, guys. Someone help me.
I'm
Bail me
mad.
out.
I'm so mad.
What are
I
you
was
mad about, Dev? What could possibly be mad about?
No, because he couldn't like keep going. I was like, yes.
All right.
No, listen.
All right.
What I was trying to, what I was getting at is, we like to have fun here.
Points don't matter unless
Points
you
don't matter
want to make us
Unless you
recap a
spend
certain
points
way.
to
There
Unless
is-
you spend points.
Yeah.
There is no structure. There is no structure. And you must have fun.
Yeah.
That is it. That is all. Those are the rules. And even then, there are no rules. Speaking of,
can I just say, going from one recap of Old Bitey to another recap by Frank Saris?
yes, I would enjoy that.
Because if we're talking about some of the best recaps, Old Bitey is on the list, certainly, though some would call it the menu. But I think one recapper that we've been sleeping on is the blue-haired half-elf known as Frank Saris, who spins the songs of the bard's refrain into existence.
Yes.
For those who were unable to join us yesterday.
There you go, Turk.
This is okay. Hello, everybody. All right. Okay. Usually, all right. Okay, no, because I got it, and I'll start it. All right, I'll start it. No, well, following the attempted assassination of a political leader by both the Gollywogs and a member of the party, briefly, well, There's only one way apparently I'm allowed to put it. Oh, they met a preacher man in cuffs. He taken money from the church. He stuffed his bank account with righteous dollar bills. Even still, I can't say much because I know we're all the same. And oh, yes, we all seek out to satisfy those thrills. And, you know, the party couldn't slow down. They couldn't hold back. Oh, you know, they wish they could. There ain't no rest for the wicked till we close their eyes for good. Which is, of course, both a reference to the song of the evening, as well as the adventure the party took on, traveling further in. You know, thank you for picking that one. That is the easiest one you can ask me to, because I could just have
That's
song
fair.
lyrics ready.
That's fair.
But, the group, as explained, encountered all that in search of an antidote from a gang hideout in the slums in a city set on edge by the attempted and presumed death of a major reformist political leader. If this sounds way too highly political, I can assure you there are many gaffes and hijinks along the way, and that there is no end to the absolute madness and chaos that this group inspires. There was blood, planning, sadness caused by sudden realizations of a lost childhood, revenge on one of 15 parties, allusions to more future revenge, which I, as a player, was very excited about. Absolutely amazing music and musical references, and enough doppelgangers to make you look at all of your roommates in a slightly different light. Because, where'd they come from? But I think one of the clips I've chosen to highlight is an update on the ever-changing party dynamic and how a certain character's situation has made them have to reconsider how they deal with problems. And maybe it's selfish to pick a clip of yourself, but honestly, I really do love the mumbles. Don't fuck this up for me.
I won't. They're just hungry. All right, let's go.
Awesome.
Just hungry. Oh, 50 coins and not expect to get a goddamn malt in them.
I love the mumbles.
Can someone please clip that for the love of God?
The one time I fail a sleight of hand.
I know.
There were some feelings in that on my part, yes. It is tough to play a character that is primarily used to just killing the problem, and not being able to do that is rough. Yeah, grumble cussing is certainly something I have done a lot of this week, both with Chell and Bootstrap. Though in my defense, I feel every single grumble cuss has been earned. And the
Listen,
quiet...
yeah, Bootstrap went through a lot last episode.
He
did.
That's the thing. I find it very interesting, because the emotional reactions of each of the players to difficult situations, or at least 3 of them versus 1 of them, is very different. Because on the one hand, you have my character, who is absolutely not interested in being like a found family situation. Like, they're not looking to build connections and all that. But it's becoming increasingly obvious via accrued trauma through these last few days that there's going to come a point where they need to step up and rally the group for a hot second. Which, you have 3 characters who have been through so much and just recently and are dealing with the repercussions of their actions, and 1 character who doesn't give a shit and just wants to get the objective done. And I find the dynamics of the group very interesting, not only because everyone else at the table there is absolutely amazing and committed to their characters and in love with their character concepts, and you can tell the effort they put in to making these characters feel alive, feel connected and special. But also, that the DM is constantly throwing us bones and moments to react to, and there is no end. I feel really bad for Bird, guys. I feel bad because every week for
she cries every week.
These last 2 sessions, Sarah was like, "All right, don't worry, Luca. This is Bird's session off. This is where Bird won't have anything bad happen to her." And it feels wrong to lie to Luca like that every single month. It's like, oh boy, the Bard's Refrain's coming up. Let's see what makes Luca cry this time.
Exactly.
Because in a lot of ways, you could see this as a Bootstraps and Rael focused arc, being that both of their backstories are incorporated into it. But oh my gosh, if this doesn't speak to the level of quality of player that you have at this table, and kind of the wisdom that actually Saint himself has espoused, like, you should not worry if this is your moment. Do what you got to do, and if no one else can react to it, it's your moment. That's how good both Saint and Luca are at playing their characters, is that even when it's not their arc, they have these amazing emotional scenes and reactions to it, and it's moments like that like I can be sitting in the chair here and being like, 1, what the hell am I doing here? And like 2, like, oh my gosh, I have so much more to learn and improve on as a player. Whereas you feel like exactly. No, thank you, Luca, for and I hope that moving in is not too difficult. But yeah, oh my gosh, it was an absolute blast to play in. I heartily recommend you look into it and enjoy it, because there was a lot of new information added for characters and their backgrounds and a little bit of their classes and their abilities that led to some people being messaged after the show being like, "What is your deal?" Which I love as a player, like the fact that we're all kind of playing mostly quietly as to what we are and like what is making our classes tick, and like working in the growth of the class. Yes, Never, you are some people. I think that's a really interesting mechanic that we have not directly spoken about involving, but just kind of reacted off of one another in using, which is really fun, and personally I've greatly enjoyed having that big reaction to new powers moments. So even though my character is usually nonplussed about anything that occurs. But yeah, again, it was absolute joy to play. Absolute joy to be trying to figure out that song. And
I know, I done spoiled it for myself at the very beginning. So.
Yeah, so well, if you're listening along to Sarah's Spotify, you might figure out what it is ahead of time.
Well, like what happened was I had been listening, or I had been looking at what artist she was listening to, and then the title clued me in of the title of the episode clued me in. I was like, dang it, now I know. And then the clues, I was like, yep, that's it.
It's you can see, the problem is you can spend an entire night trying to quietly listen along to the Spotify as a player and being like, all right, this is the way things are going, all right, and you realize, oh no, she's not listening to none of these songs make any sense, and she's just like, That's the problem. It's got me fucking paranoid about Spotify playlists now. She's like, send me songs that connect with your character or yourself, and I'm like, well, dang it. Now I gotta look through this entire
Great.
list of all the childhood songs that I would like curl up to when I fell asleep, when I couldn't sleep or was sick or something. I'm like, damn. I mean, we already got like Annie Lennox. Eventually, I'm just waiting for the Seal and Sting.
But yeah, for sure. And something that I think is always like, especially for you viewers, something that really makes me like attach my face to the screen watching an episode is any type of confrontation of a character's backstory. Okay, this is what happened in this episode. There was a confrontation of backstory, and if you like want all those juicy deets of these characters that you're very invested in, you need to watch this episode. Like I can't spoil it because they're huge spoilers. So you need to watch it. Please watch it. I need to talk.
I will say if this is what I think you're referring to, if what I think you're referring to is what I think you're referring to, it was a very quick moment.
Mm-hmm.
That actually interestingly enough was like not something that my character hides necessarily, but I am very much looking forward to, especially as his abilities more directly related to his background have manifested in a very visible way, people interacting with that. Because I mean, it's always fun to figure out like what does my character actually know about their abilities and what, because I mean, but also, you know, everyone loves talking about themselves. So the group learning more about Bootstrap and Raiola this session was definitely great, and of course we always learn more, a little bit more, even if it's only a fraction bit more about Elliot and Bird, and all of them coming together and just figuring it out. And I've been told, little heads up for next session, that what we're going to experience next is something that's been in the works since the first episode of Bard's Refrain was kind of like, we're going to make this a long-term thing. After that, it was like, this is the session that was in mind. So,
Oh boy.
I
You
don't
heard it
know-
here, folks.
I don't know what it is, but if you thought all of these last episodes were really well thought out and planned and put together, I don't know what to tell you. Buckle in, grab a hold of your butts, and get ready for another amazing interlude of songs or song of the Bard's Refrain.
Yep. And it's a question that I continuously ask myself: how can we continue to create this amazing content, to expand on the things we've already done, and to, top the things. Hello,
Hey,
Raiders. Hello, Master of Rem.
How's it going?
Thank you for joining us in the throes of the of our show. Unfortunately, we are about to come to an end here. I was trying to be a little poetic with it, but nah.
Now you're just gonna hear all the dope content we have coming up.
Yes. So, how do we expand and continue what we have already done? Well, we have a lot on the calendar already, so let's take a look at that. And Dev, I do want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know we took up a little bit more of your time than I think you were probably expecting.
Never.
Thank you for sticking it out and being a trooper. Anything before we dive into future content? Anything else you want to say or talk about?
Any questions you have? As I mean, we don't currently have any from chat, but yeah, if you had any questions at all about shows and that we can posit on or directly speak to as people who are on shows.
Like questions I have for you,
or just in general, just questions you have about like
Just
not like
anything, ask us
TPK like
anything.
business stuff, but like what you know.
No, of course not. What's your favorite colors?
Blue.
I was shit,
Purple.
I was gonna say blue.
Pete,
Okay.
you
You-
can
you
share.
both can have.
Aquamarine.
No, we can't share. Yeah, all right. Good.
Okay.
Take the tertiary color.
Oops.
I like
Yeah,
blue.
I mean, colors inform a lot, but I really don't have anything at this moment. I mean, we've talked so much, and I'm blanking, but that's okay. I'll let you know if I ever come up with anything
Well,
else.
thank
That's
you
okay.
so much. It was an absolute joy to have you on us and hearing
Yeah.
your perspective on playing and creating characters is very interesting and makes me really excited for all the stuff that I know you're going to be in coming up in the new year, which when we're doing the rounds, I heartily encourage you to take the reins and talk about, because I definitely want to.
Thank you so much.
wanna
I
see more
hope
here.
we I hope we get the chance to talk. My mind was all over the place. I wasn't expecting to talk about it. You really caught me by surprise. But it was a nice little surprise, and I hope we get the chance to talk about it more in depth and target certain topics in character development, creation, exploration, and the like. It's so fun.
Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
All right.
And we will always have a spot on here again for you, Dev. So, but hey, let's talk about what we have coming up. Because of the holidays, this next week is going to be pretty sparse. We did have a one-shot scheduled for the 21st that had to be rescheduled, so look for that. 55 Below Zero and 6 Feet from Hell, DM'd by the incredible David Dudka. Look for that in the new year. But this Tuesday, December 22nd, will be the final episode of Harper Investigations before season 2 begins in the new year. So one last time to get in the hijinks and shenanigans before we go back to level 1 and start a whole new masterpiece over again. So come join us on Tuesday to see whatever Luca has planned for us. I have no clue. So I'm sure it's going to be holiday oriented in some respect. But besides that, 'tis a mystery, and we have to investigate it. Contrary to the schedule, yes, contrary to the calendar on TPK's website, we will not be having a total party recap on Sunday, December 27th. We will be picking back up on January. January 3rd. Yes, January 3rd, which is the first Sunday of January. And we will be talking about Harper's. We will be talking about the module week that week coincides with, and also a one-shot hack that I think you know a little bit more about.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in it, so we're ramping up and making our characters and everything for this. But we are going to be doing a one-shot of another indie RPG brought to you by our very own J.K. Madigan, or Carmen Turner. He's gonna be jamming it, and it is called The World Broke, and it is a system based on the absolute craziness that was our year 2020, starting from it can include anything from the pandemic to our murder hornets towards any of that. It's just our characters that we're making facing that in kind of almost a fantasy setting, but not really, like more of a fictional setting. I would say fictional rather than fantasy, but yeah, we all have different roles, like advocates or poets or any type of thing like that. And it is going to be absolutely crazy. It is a roll under system, very similar to Electric Bastion Land, but just a little bit different in terms of stats and HP and all of that. But that's kind of what I associate it with. But it's going to be interesting. I already had to re-roll my stats because they were horrible.
You cannot use Avrai. For people who
don't
use
use Avri.
die
Do
rolling
not
on
use Avri to
Discord,
roll your stats.
Avrai does not like
PSA.
players.
Listen, for roll under system, you cannot have stats of an 8, a 7, and a 5. Okay, that's just making a very killable character. It's not fun. So I got to re-roll that because JK is a very benevolent GM. But yeah, you won't want to miss it. It's going to be super fun and a great send-off for this year, I think.
Avery gives you NPC stats.
Yeah. No, really, because to be fair, if you join our wonderful Discord, we do have a chat dedicated to the use of Avrai. And I've been noticing lately, people have been doing the rand character code. My goodness. Avrai will not give, so we'll just go through periods where it will not give anyone stats above 70. It's absolutely insane. It is an angry character.
Every giveth and every
holds
taketh
grudges.
away.
Yeah.
It remembers. It remembers when you roll more than once.
It also has voice recognition technology, and so everyone that acts salty in chat.
It knows. Hive mind, it knows.
Okay, I will say it doesn't actually have voice recognition technology for people that are just joining now.
Oh no.
Congrats, you scared them off.
Oh god.
We're losing viewers, so no.
Or you attracted them.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, it's so immersive. But no, lots of incredible content coming up in the new year and
So much good content.
end of 2020.
Can we tease that?
Yes, we can just briefly talk about it. So in the first couple of weeks of January 2021, we have 55 Below Zero and 6 Feet from Hell on Monday the 4th. On Tuesday the 5th, we will have the first episode of Harper Investigations Season 2, which isn't on the calendar for some reason, and
it's hidden and secret.
Yes, it is. Maybe we shouldn't tell anybody about this.
No.
Gotta fix it in post now.
They must know.
They need to know. Cole, don't you dare edit this part out.
Interesting. Well,
people watching this need to know.
Yes, if you wanna fix it in post, Cole, by all means.
Also, hi Cole, we love you and appreciate you.
Yes, we do love you, Cole. Hey.
Oh.
I don't know what is going on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't think anything. Wednesdays were Singularity. By the way, unfortunately, something came up with the GM of Singularity, Fail Prime, and he will be stepping away from TPK for the foreseeable future. And so Singularity will be going on a hiatus until then. We will be filling the slot with a number of incredible one-shots to come.
Or GM chats even, maybe?
Or GM chats, whatever. You know what,
yes.
just whatever we possibly can, because we are crazy with the amount of content that we put out there. I'm not entirely sure what's going on the Thursday, the 7th. So I'm not going to say anything just yet.
We do have, I don't know when it is, but I think Heck and I can probably maybe say that January we probably have Raven's Crest coming up. We probably have to schedule, perhaps. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
We
don't know.
We do have more Raven's Crest to look forward to in the new year, and that is going to be a very interesting session given what has occurred last time.
The saga continues.
Saga continues, hopefully.
Somehow.
On Friday, the 8th, we have the first installment of Proper Parlor Games.
Yes.
Which is going to be very fun. If you watched last week's TPR, we released a teaser of Proper Parlor Games, but more information to come on that. I think we'll probably give more succinct information on the 3rd, January 3rd, with TPR. And then last thing, on Saturday, the 9th, is the first episode of the brand new Lukalach Curse of Strahd campaign.
Gasp.
Oh boy.
So come check that out because it's going to be fucking nuts. Yes, it echoes until we end the show.
I'm pretty sure you said it. My mind might just have blanked. Did we talk about JK?
Yeah, that's true. We do also have that to look forward to in the new year. For those fans who are looking at the calendar and being like, "Dang, that's a lot of D&D. What if I, a citizen in good standing with the government, assumedly, want a little bit more than D&D?" Well, do I have good news for you? Because coming up in the new year, we are very excited to announce the Top Shelf.
Yes.
And the start of JK's ride for all of us, taking us through all of these amazing indie TTRPGs, featuring players jumping feet first into a new system, digging through, playing a session, interacting sometimes even with creators and writers, and then just talking about the system afterwards. So if you're a fan of third-party TTRPGs, if you're a fan of non-traditional RPGs, if you're a fan of just game design and people hanging out and talking about how game systems made them feel, I think it's going to be an absolute great show. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing exposure to content that is beyond your typical fare. And I would heartily encourage you watch it because, oh my gosh, the amount of really amazingly cool content that JK has already brought to our attention in the form of, Electric Bastion Lands and the upcoming It's As the World Ends, or
The world broke.
The World Broke.
Actually,
Sorry. The World Broke. And again, yeah. Also, if you're a fan of J.K. Max,
or if you're a fan, like
if you're just a fan of his beautiful face, like I am,
all of the above.
if you're all of the
he's
above.
actually done some really great promo stuff that he shared on his Twitter. So I'm just gonna.
Oh
link
my
his
gosh, that
Twitter
photo
in
is
here
gorgeous.
right now.
I'm looking right at you, JK. That photo is
Hold
gorgeous.
on.
The first
Follow
system,
this man
the first
on Twitter,
system is going to
please.
be Hearts, yeah.
Yes.
So as you may or may not be aware, he did put out a poll to see what the first system he would be diving into is, and the winner, of course, was Hearts. Let me make sure I get this full name system right. Heart,
The City
Heart, the
Beneath.
City Beneath, which I have not looked into as much, but I am also aware of some other systems that will be coming up later, and I can say I am very excited for things to come.
It's great that you haven't heard about it before because that's exactly what this is for.
Exactly. No. So that's another thing, amazing thing about the Discord. If you are sitting there right now, and you've come from a raid and you are unfamiliar with TPK right now, I want you to consider coming and joining our Discord because it is not just a place to come hang out and talk about TPK shows. It's not just a place to come out and talk about D&D or whatever game you're playing that week. This is a place where you can come in with any level of experience and any level of passion and any interest of the TTRPG variety, and you are going
birds.
to or just birds.
If you get to know me
birds.
enough, I'll compare you to a bird.
Yes, another
Very
incentive
nice.
to join the Discord is getting birds. But I guarantee you, if you come in and say like, "Hey, I have this book in my library. It's a TTRPG, and I really want to play it," and it screams at me in the night, then I promise you'll not only find a group of people very interested to play along with you, but you're going to find one or two people who have been like, yeah, of course, I've also heard of that. And that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of what we've made here at TPK. And that's why I'm so excited to come here every single week and talk about the amazing stuff that we put on. Because it's a beautiful community, putting on beautiful things and making dope shit. And just, God, love me some TPK. Yeah.
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 Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Literally.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, on that
Anyway.
note, that is the sound of the show ending. So,
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming out. And before old Bitey apparates on screen or into one of our rooms and, like, I don't know, sings a song or something. He's not here yet. We need to get out of here. So thank you all so much for coming and watching. Again, reminder: we will not be here. We will not be here next week, but we will be the week after. So please continue watching TPK content. If any of the shows that you heard about today sounded fun or interesting to you, and you wanted to check them out, you can always find them on our YouTube. Some of them probably are not out on YouTube yet, but they will be coming out within the next week or so. So check them out when you have the time, and if you don't, there's always our show. Anyway, again, thank you. We love you all, and until 2 weeks from now.